Welcome back. We turn now to Oklahoma, where the state is now less than 48 hours away from executing a man who many say is innocent. Despite bipartisan support from Democrats and Republicans, state prosecutors, community leaders, and two recommendations for clemency from the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board, Julius Jones is still scheduled to die Thursday at 4 p.m. Jones has spent the last 20 years living on death row, convicted of the murder of a white businessman, Paul Howell, a crime he swears he didn't commit. His fate now rests entirely in the hands of Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt, who could at any moment step in and stop his execution from happening. But in spite of the overwhelming evidence pointing to Julius's innocence, the governor has chosen to do nothing up to this point. And with the world watching, the time for action is very quickly running out. Joining me now is Julius Jones's mother, Madeline Davis-Jones. Madeline, I'm so incredibly humbled that you've agreed to give us your time, given what you and your family are currently enduring. So thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Madeline, my first question to you is, you've spent the last 20 years of your life fighting for your son's freedom, and now it's down to the 11th hour, and I can't imagine what this must feel like. How are you and your family holding up?
We're holding up fairly well. This is the last hour, and not being able to hear from our honorable governor, we're holding up and we're trusting in God, and just, trying to hold our own.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were able to speak to Julius last week. What is he feeling right now? Is he still hopeful?
Well, last week when I spoke to him, he was feeling hopeful and in good spirits because, our system, Lord help me. He's holding up fairly well, but, our system is broken, and, you're taught that, we live in America. Everyone is given an equal opportunity. All these things were not kept in promise. And our governor, after having two different recommendations from his parole board, that Jews should be given clemency and life with the possibility of parole, and our governor, being a faith-believing person, cannot make a decision. And how can I say, Lord Jesus, help me. Right now, at the last hour, I know Julius is tired after 22 years for something that he did not do. And I know in my heart and my spirit every day that where he was and that he is innocent. But we were not given the opportunity to say where he was. Things were not fairly. A lot of loose ends. And the family that we all have been grieving with as we grieve, they know that my son did not commit this crime. But, some people believe that, as long as someone is paying. But if you know that person is guilty, you can have closure. But the way things are going right now, there's not going to be any closure because one person will not be brought back. And I just don't know what to say, but I thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm really crushed right now.
Thank you. And please take your time. We definitely understand that this is very hard, which is why I'm so appreciative that you took the time to speak with me. Now, I spoke with Tiffany Lofton with the Grassroots Law Project last night about Julius's case, and she told us that he hasn't been able to hug anyone for the last 22 years. Now, I'm told that after 2 decades, you'll be seeing Julius tomorrow without a thick wall of glass between you two. Tell me how that's feeling for you.
In reality, but the way the system works, I'm wondering if I'll be able to get a real hug. He may be in chains. And it's a good feeling to know that I'll be able to hug him, but, under circumstances. And I just wish that the governor would take under consideration. He's a faith-believing person just like I am and so many other people. And to think about it, what if Julius was one of his sons? Would he want him to be executed for something that he did not do? And, he's my honorable governor. I have not had a chance to speak with him. He represents the people. Just a lot of things is blowing through my mind right now. And he has a smile, but I should have a smile too. And it would be different if my child committed this crime, but he did not. And the other family was able to talk to him, and all through the years, they have been able to voice their opinion. They've changed their stories several times, and right's just right and wrong is wrong, and really wrong need to be corrected, and not just for my baby, but
well, you know what?
I sit and wonder how many others.
Well, Madeline, there's an option for the governor that some people don't even really talk about, and that's for him to just grant a stay and keep renewing a stay of the execution until he feels a certain level of certainty, if he even has any doubts. But right now, we know that this case, at the very least, there's reasonable doubt. If not pointing to a complete exoneration. But speaking of the governor, yesterday you, along with members of the Oklahoma State House Black Caucus, went down to Oklahoma's Capitol to meet with the governor. But after several hours of waiting, you were eventually told that a meeting wasn't going to happen. I want to play a clip of that now.
Okay.
We received your letter. The governor's going to take it into consideration. We've got a process. Not going to be an issue.
Are you saying that the governor denied to meet with the Jones family?
Madeline, it's infuriating, one, that the governor denied you a meeting, especially when you talk about him representing the people and you are one of his constituents. But the way this person delivered that message was so smug, it angers me. He's had a meeting with the victim's family. How did it make you feel that he declined to see you?
Made me feel empty, made me feel like no one or nobody, like I'm invisible. And I have a right. I'm a citizen, law-abiding educator. I have held several leaderships, and I know you can't go off of favoritism, popularity. You have to do the right thing. And with my moral standards and believing and trusting in God, every decision I've ever had to make, it wasn't hard. It was very easy. After I prayed about it, looked at both sides, I like leadership that listens to both sides and then make the decision. I come from a large family, and that's the way we dealt with things. Also in the organizations I belong to, even in my school district, we have an awesome superintendent that he lets us voice our opinion, but then at the end, he makes that final decision. And being a God-fearing man, most of those decisions are good. We may not, understand them and approve them, but they're good ones. But right
So you
now,
didn't get a
I
chance to
just
speak
feel
with the.
like I'm not a citizen or a voter. I don't have a right, and I have just as much right as anyone else.
And you're right about that. Despite what you may do for a living or who you've been for however many years of your life, that shouldn't matter. And you're absolutely correct. But you didn't get to speak with the governor. What would you say to him? What is your message for him?
To just strip him as his title and just a person, a citizen, that he could have given me or one of my family members the opportunity to just talk to us, give us an opportunity to find out what we're about, you know, make the playing field even. But, you know, that's all I can say, you know, and I really can't find the words because, like, the Howell family wants justice and they want closure. And can you have justice or closure knowing that all the pieces do not fit? They're not
Yeah.
equally. And, you know, they said that they weren't given a opportunity, a fair opportunity. What more do they want? We even offered to talk with them. They didn't want to talk with us. But
Well, Madeline,
I don't know.
that actually brings me to my next question. You actually are answering my question, but when it comes to death penalty cases that we cover, we often find that the focus is on finality instead of fairness, right? There are so many people who believe that Julius is innocent, but others who don't, including the Howell family, who want to see this execution happen on Thursday. What is your message to them?
My message to the Howell family is that if they really want justice and closure, that they should maybe look at the last defense or maybe look a little bit more deeper and not go by hearsay. Even with the description that the sister gave. And at that time, Julius's hair was cut very short. The young lady was talking about her mother at the hospital. Her mother was not at the hospital. The gentleman, lady friend, was there. And I heard a lot of good things about Mr. Howell. And it's like him and Julius are two of a kind. They like people. They get along well with people. And it's like taking two innocent people and you know who the killer, the shooter is, and you don't even want to pursue them, not find out anything about them. That's being very narrow-minded. And they really need to look a little deeper.
Madeline, my last question to you is really important because so many people have seen pictures of Julius, know his name, but what do you want the world to know most about your son?
I want them to know that Julius is a kind, wonderful child, person. He's someone's brother, someone's uncle, someone's father, and most of all, someone's son. I know that he loves me and loves all of us. And he doesn't deserve this. And he could be very productive in the society because he has a lot of fine qualities. And not just boasting because he's my child, but because he is. And it's going to be it would be a terrible loss if the governor does not take that in consideration.
Madeline Davis-Jones, thank you again so very much for your time tonight. Thank you.